Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Commander Cube. Uh, I did put out a live video I did on Friday, and some of my play group thought that it'd be a good idea that I expand on the deck and why I started the Commander Cube and why the channel. And so this is the deck that I wanted to build back in the day that I could not build legally for gameplay because partner existed at the time, but these cards did not have partner. So I'm going to open the deck up and I'm going to go through it and I'm going to talk a little bit about the deck, show you all the stuff in the deck, how it's changed, some of the things in it. I have updated the sleeves recently because this came out and it was basically the commander I wanted for the cube. So it's not, it's if people don't like the partner commanders I've chosen for it, I will run that. Otherwise, I just do the commanders that it's supposed to be. And you can find the deck on the Moxfield page. There's one of the commanders that it should be. So this is what it is now. Well, if this is one of the two preferred commanders. There we go. So, this deck technically, I guess, would have three commanders. Those two as partners. So, if you look at these, they're from the same block. So this is Amonkhet, and this is Hour of Devastation. They're from the same Amonkhet block, and they are not able to be played. If this was my commander, I can't play this one. If this is my commander, I can't play this one. And there was no -1/-1 counter themed 3-color commander until Lorwyn came out and they put out Ante. So Ante is my kind of default commander now, but these two are my preferred commander. And they work great. They are fantastic. And it's fun, and it's not broken. It's powerful, but it's not broken. And I wanted to build more decks like that and see other things that could combine it. But the deck, Petra, Vizier of Poisoners. Whenever Petra deals combat damage to a player, you may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. It can go on itself, it can go on their creature, it can go on any creature you want. Whenever you put one or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, create a 1/1 green snake creature token with Death Touch. It can go on one of the other snakes that you already have. It doesn't matter. It just does that. But if the Sun God, if the Scorpion God is out, whenever a creature with a -1/-1 counter on it dies, draw a card. Well, if I put it on a snake, I just make another snake and draw a card. That isn't that bad. I can also just pay 1 black red and put a -1/-1 counter on another creature, making a snake if a Petra is out. And whenever he dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So he only ever costs 5, and this costs 2. These two are great commanders together. If partner existed when these two came out, they probably would have had partner in different sets though, so they would have had to come out at the same time. I just think these two deserved each other, and I built the deck. So he wasn't in it obviously originally, but he's in it now. I forget what I took out for him, but let's go through the rest of the deck. So I'm going to separate it out into creatures and artifacts, lands, enchantments, all the fun stuff. And I'll go through them all. Snap, 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 all the cards go snap. Gotta get that good snapping it. There you go, yeah. Hear that snap. Alright, so as I do this, please, like, look at the cards that you can see. I know you can't see all of them because it's now zoomed in too much. Let me zoom back out. There you go. And I'm sorry about the blur here. I can't really dull it. I can dull it that much by putting a box next to it. Sorceries up there, enchantments down here. Artifacts. Artifact, creature, land, instant. Finally got an instant. Land, enchantment, creature. That's another one card the guy put in. The Reaper, King No More, and Off-Nab Goat. So those are the newest cards in it. I mean, they're not this set, but they're the last set. So there have been a bunch of cards that have been added to it. And it is a fun deck. It is not played as often as I'd like. Not because it's overpowered or my group doesn't like it, but it's because I have a lot of decks, and I do feel like it does become a bit of a target. But the other decks people play are just as bad as this, and they know it. So this doesn't die often. So let's go through this, and we'll start with the creatures, and we'll move on to the rest. Or let's start off with the small stuff, and we'll move to the big stuff. So lands will be last. We'll just go through in size of the cards. So, alright. So we're gonna start off with sorceries, instances, whatever. All right. So we start off. Let's again zoom in, and we can get rid of that glare. All right. So red, black, green. I don't have a lot of stuff that is gonna deal with with enchantments. But Chaos Warp deals with pretty much anything that doesn't have Hexproof or Shroud or Ward, and I can pay the Ward normally. Always a good removal card. It brings Chaos to the game, and I love that. So Chaos Warp, definitely an Assassin's Trophy. I wish Assassin's Trophy didn't say opponent. If it didn't say opponent, I think it'd be much better. Kind of like a Path to Exile that just can hit anything. It would work really well, but it's still good removal, and it gets rid of anything. And of course, Heroic Intervention, because you gotta save everything once if you can. So, I think it's now a game changer. I'm not 100% sure. But Heroic Intervention makes it in as the last instance. I have 4 sorceries. Red Sun Zenith. I got Maelstrom Pulse. For any other kind of token deck, I can just bounce all their tokens. Harmonize, because it does need to draw cards. And then we have Black Sun's Zenith. I love this foil art. It looks gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it in the... You can kind of see it, but it has the Phyrexian symbol right at the bottom. It is a very good removal spell for my deck, because I just do it for 1. If I do this for 1 with a Petra on board, I get a snake for every creature that's on the board, and if the Scorpion God's on the board, I draw a card for every creature that dies. Petra only cares if it for each creature that gets a counter. It doesn't matter how many counters. So giving 2 counters doesn't make a difference. Giving 1 counter to everything does. So a very good thing to know when you're using that as your commander. Next we got artifacts. So clearly ramp is important, and so is card draw. So start off with a Mind Stone. We have Skull Clamp. We have one of my favorite things, so I bet you can just swing in there, is Basilisk Collar. We have this gorgeous Ashnod's Altar. We have Ensnaring Bridge. A beautiful Arcane Signet. Chimmel the Inner Sun. We got this Skullspore Nexus. It just helps me get more token stuff going on. Coat of Arms helps me make big snakes. I make a lot of big snakes of Coat of Arms in play. And my full art Soul Ring, signed by Mark Pohl. And the final thing, one of the most important things that helps me win sometimes, Grafted Exoskeleton. Given an equipped creature infect is insane. +2/+2 in infect is very good. Going into enchantments next, we have Nest of Scarabs. Whenever you put one or more -1 counters on a creature, create that many 1/1 black insect tokens. So again, there's the synergy in there, as most of these have come before the -1/1 counter deck from Lorwyn came out. But a lot of the cards from this deck were in that deck. And this is one of them. This is I had before it. It was cheap. I got it nice in foil. Goblin Bombardment, Etch foil. We've got a Burgeoning. This one is also from the thing, but Everlasting Torment. So players can't gain life, damage can't be prevented. All damage that is dealt as though a source had wither. -1/-1 counter synergy. That's fantastic. I don't think I knew that existed, or it was a new card strictly for the Lorwyn thing when that came out, because I bought it because I didn't know. I didn't buy it strictly for that. I bought it for Ante, but that was another card I wanted from it. We've got Original Awakening Zone. We've got Death Reap Ritual. So, Morbid, each end step, if a creature died this turn, draw a card. Each end step. One of the win cons in this, all will be one. It kind of just deals with everyone else's stuff. We got Rancor. We got Black Market, because a lot of stuff's going to be dying. I need that mana. We got another moving around counter. Just make more and more stuff with the Blowfly Infestation. Doubling Season. I know a lot of people talk bad about it because it's a 5-drop that doesn't do anything when it comes in. It is there because I do both counters and I do tokens. I do agree that you need to have both if you're going to run it. It's not strong. It's not strong enough if you're going to do it for just one or the other. I still might run it if I didn't have something else to put in there. But I also am a huge fan of Doubling Season. Flourishing Defense. Another token producer for -1/-1 counters. Pheresis. Just give a creature infect. It's always good. Something to counteract my own -1/-1 counters with Roaring Earth. I just find this to be a very good enchantment that I would run in almost any green deck that likes big creatures or landfalls. Parallel Lives, because I am making the snake tokens more than anything else, and that is what that will help me with. Last but not least on the enchantments is Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Next, we're getting into the creatures and then the lands after that, and we're done with this deck. But Anti-Wool. So, if you don't know her, she is from the Commander deck from Lorwyn. She's a -1/-1 counter team commander. Ward Blight 2. So to target it, someone has to put -1/-1 counters on stuff, and whenever one or more -1/-1 counters are put on a creature, draw a card. If you control that creature, if you don't control it, that its controller lose a life. So if my stuff gets a -1/-1 counter, I draw a card. If your creatures, if it doesn't, they lose a life. One or more, so it doesn't trigger repeatedly. Off of the same, 3 counters at one time from one spell, from one effect, would only get you 1 card and or then losing 1 life. But if you have multiple triggers of it, it triggers again. Dusk Urchin, I think it got reprinted in the thing. It was almost a must-have for it. It is whenever Dusk Urchin attacks or blocks, it gets a -1/-1 counter, and then when it is put into the graveyard from play, draw a card for each -1/-1 counter on it. That is just perfect for the deck. Next, we got the Sinister Gnarl Bark. This is a new one. But at the beginning of your end step, draw a card and blight one. That's just a free snake. And eventually draw a card. Carifex Demon. So when this creature enters with 2 mental counters on it, so I would still get the snakes when this enters, and I can pay 1 to remove a counter from this and put it on each other creature, so I can just spread it around and get a ton of snakes, kill all those snakes, and do it again and get more snakes. It works well. Rezaketh, this is my search engine. This is how I find everything. I use him to basically get what I need to win the game. And it's usually a will be 1 and a Soul Scar Mage, and I just can win with that. That, a Blood Artist, usually is enough to win. Prayer of Behemoth, because if I'm going to have 1,000 snakes, I may as well have 1,001, 1,000 snakes. They're Death Touch snakes, so Finn, the Fang Bear, works great as also just Infect Kill. Of course, Evolution Sage, because proliferating does count as putting them on it, so it would trigger this, so I can do it to a bunch of creatures at once, and Petra would get bigger. Offnad Goat's just funny, and I love giving things -1/-1 counters. So Offnad Goat just seemed like a fun one to add, so I threw it in there. The Reaper King No More. So when the Reaper King enters, put a -1/-1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. You don't have to control them. Any creatures. When a creature an opponent controls with a -1/-1 counter on it dies, you may put that card onto the battlefield under your control. Do this only once each turn. So I play this. I kill something of theirs. I have the Scorpion King out, so I draw a card. And I get the creature back. And I made a snake or 2. That seems great to me, doesn't it? We got Death Greeter, so I can just, whenever another creature dies, I gain a life, because things are going to die. Village Pillagers, so Wither, 5/5. When this creature enters, it deals 1 damage to each creature your opponents control, so it has Wither, so for 5 mana, give everything my opponents control a -1/-1 counter, make a bunch of snakes. Again, anything that does that just got added. And then whenever a creature in front of controls with a counter on it dies, create a tap treasure token. So again, the new cards they made for Commander from this thing were very powerful. They kind of had to go in. Kalwrath Knight. So Wither, flying 3/3 creatures your opponents control with counters on them can't attack or block. It's a great way to stop your opponents from stopping you from killing them. We got Deathrite Shaman. And I'm not going to explain Deathrite Shaman. We know it's good. It's sadly not a foil one, but it's still a nice one. Wickerbrot Elder. So when it comes into play, -1/-1 counter, makes a snake, all that fun stuff. Remove a counter, destroy an artifact or enchantment, and I can put more counters on it, and repeats that process. It works really well. Necroskitter. So again, another creature with Weather. It's a 1/4. Whenever a creature an opponent controls with a -1/-1 counter on it dies, you may return that card to the battlefield under your control. So another way to steal more creatures from my opponents. Massacre Girl. Yeah, creatures I control have Wither. So my snakes not only have Death Touch, but they also have Wither. Death Touch isn't going to kill with Wither, but it's one or the other. Snakes will replace themselves. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, if it had toughness less than 1, draw a card. I'm producing tokens, so I'm going to kill things with Nodder's Nightblade. So when a token you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Of course, the Seer has to be in Viscera Seer, whatever. Sacrifice a creature, scry 1. Awesome card. Quill Spike. So I just remove my counter from a creature I control, and he gets bigger, and I can basically just keep my stuff alive and just go crazy. Ewit, obviously, I never really miss that. Lotus Cobra. Gotta have Lotus Cobra. Midnight Banshee used to be a big one in the deck. It still is, but there's like a few cards that do this now. Sorry. So Midnight Banshee, Wither, and at the beginning of my upkeep, put a -1/-1 counter on each non-black creature. So all my snakes die each turn, but they come back with more snakes, and everyone else's stuff gets a -1/-1 counter. Tireless Tracker. We know what it does. Rose Room Treasurer. I don't see a lot of people playing this, and I think it's really good. So, Alliance, when a creature enters, do X. So, X in this case, for the first time, it is make a treasure. For the second time, it's make a treasure. For the third time, or beyond, you may pay X. If you do, he deals that much damage to any target. So the Rose Room Treasurer will just treasure. Oh, you want me to kill something? Okay. We got mana. Let's kill something. Again, one of the win cons, Soulscar Mage. So if a source I control would deal non-combat damage to a creature an opponent controls, put that many -1/-1 counters on it instead. So I ping something for 1, and then it gets a -1/-1 counter. All will be 1. Will deal 1 damage. Will let me deal another damage, and it just repeats that until all the creatures are dead that I don't control, and then I can hit someone in the face, and then I can swing out with an army of snakes and kill everyone. That is generally how that one works. Blood Artist also being out there just kind of says, no, they just all died because all their creatures died too. We got Veteran Explorer. I just like getting extra lands that this deck wants to ramp. I don't care if everyone else is ramping too. This helps me a bit. I can see a lot of people saying don't run it. I like everyone to not be mana screwed, so I encourage it. Plagued Belcher, Menace 5/4 for 3, but it enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. On target creature you control, so it doesn't have to go on that. And whenever another zombie you control dies, each opponent loses a life. I don't care about the last part. And then Batali, Primal Conqueror. Yes, it's the flip Batali, so on the other side, it's an 11/11 Infect, indestructible creature with trample. And when he enters, each player exiles the top card of their library until they exile an online card, and I cast any number of those cards without paying their mana cost. Yay! Those are all the creatures, plus Petra and the Scorpion God. Lastly, the lands. So let's just get rid of the basics. I'll tell you how many of each it runs. So, it runs 2 mountains, 2 swamps, 3 forests, a reliquary tower, an underground mortuary, exotic orchard, animal sanctuary, Oran Reef, the Vast Woods, Homeward Path, because I'm afraid of people stealing my stuff, the Shire, Dragonskull Summit, Beseju, who endures, Luxury Suite is a very pretty old border foil, etched foil, Misty Rainforest. Sulphurmire. We got the Ruckus Theater. We got a Blood Crypt. We got a Copperline Gorge. Verdant Catacombs. Undergrowth Stadium, sorry. Yavimaya. Cradle of Growth foil full art. We have Tekanuma Abandoned Mire, Highland Forest, Highland Charm, Grove of the Burn Willows. We got Zoteo's Proving Grounds, Phyrexian Tower, Woodland Cemetery, Grim Backwoods, and Dryad Arbiter. It also counts as a creature. But that is the deck. It inspired me to build the cube because I wanted to build more decks like this and just see what it could do. I have had the cube for 2 to 3 years at this point, but I only started the channel last November 2025, and the reason I did that was because I went to I want to go back to PAX East. I went to Magic Con Atlanta 2025, and I brought the cube with me. And after the con events were over each night, we'd go down to the lounge in the hotel, and we make too much noise, and they eventually tell it to kick us out. But before they kicked us out, I would bring the cube down and I would invite people to play it. And I told them, like, I want to do something with it. It would get more people to see it, explore it, and try to expand their knowledge of magic cards, as well as just combos that they can do and Commander and other things. So I I had some people play. I had like 2 nights. We had two to three people play each night that were outside of the group, and they are from all over. And they said the cube was really fun. They loved it, and they'd love to see a channel like this that was like exploring a cube in general, if not like every type of cube stuff, not just my cube stuff. I don't know a lot about other cube stuff, so I'm just sticking to mine right now, but I'm more than willing to expand out and talk with other cube people about cubes. But this is one of the decks that inspired me. Since building this deck, I have built other two commander decks, and so have other people in my group. We have a list of different cards and different things that we have built. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I'm trying to bring up the spreadsheet that we have for. Hmm, I guess I don't have it on this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna skip that for right now. I'll bring it up another day. Um, I can bring it up on my desktop over my laptop. But let's just go back to this. Sorry. So, close this, open this. So, what we're gonna do now. All right. So, this this is another deck that I've been working on that I worked on a long time ago. It's the one on Moxfield that has the most views. It is my um it was kind of a joke prank deck that I not prank deck, but a silly deck that I thought about. And it's basically one of the reasons I wanted to do the cube was to do stuff like that. So what you're seeing here is a Meldrotha deck that doesn't care about getting back the creatures that much. It really kind of wants them there because the whole point of the deck is a card that a lot of people don't seem to use. It's this card right here. So, Mortal Kombat. So, enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if 20 or more creature cards are in your graveyard, you win the game. It's a very weird win the game effect. And I just think that it's kind of a fun one to build. So all the creatures in here, no, say close, please. Close. There we go. So all the creatures have something to do with graveyards or cycling that fit the color. And they're all really just things that work with the theme of just going through your deck until you find a creature. And it's really, really fun. But you can't, like, I haven't built it, but you don't always have to build the decks you want to make. You can build them out on sites like this first. I just wanted to show you, like, there's themes and things that you can do that are cards that nobody plays that are actually really good, that are just kind of out there. And lastly, actually, here, I'm not going to show you the whole deck. I'm just going to, this is next video. This is the next partners for the next video. I hope this inspires you guys to build 2-color commander or partner commander decks. You don't have to stick by my 2-color rule. You can do a 3-color and a 3-color, whatever you want. But this is what... Oh, sorry. Still new at this. This is the next deck. We've got Jasmine Boreal of the 7 and Yargul and Multani, partner commanders. I think they're a pair that's made in heaven. But I'll talk about that in the next video, and I will see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good night. Bye.